Before we move on, let's maintain a moment of silence for the discontinued Oppo F series. Now that we've done that, it's not necessarily a bad thing because Oppo has replaced the F series with the Reno series in India. It's got a new colorful branding, a new logo, and it looks really nice. There are two phones in this series, which are the Oppo Reno 10x Zoom and the Oppo Reno standard variant. There are differences between the two, of course. The 10x Zoom one comes with Snapdragon 855, while the standard one comes with Snapdragon 710. And the 10x Zoom one has 3 cameras on the rear, whereas the 710 has only 2. And of course, the main calling card for the 10x Zoom one is of course the 10x lossless zoom that you can do with the phone. And of course, it's got 5x optical zoom. So what we're going to do in this video is find out my first impressions of the Oppo Reno series. Hi, I'm Ershad from Mr. Phone, and let's get this video started. The major point of difference between the Reno and the Reno 10x Zoom is the camera setup. On the Reno 10x Zoom, you get a 48MP primary Sony IMX586 sensor with an f/1.7 optically stabilized lens. There's also the 13MP telephoto camera with an f/3 aperture lens which has the focal length of 130mm. This means that it can do 5x optical zoom without a sweat. Oppo also claims that it can do 10x hybrid lossless zoom, and therefore the name of the phone. Actually, during testing, I found out that it moves from 1x to 2x and jumps to 6x and then 10x. The third camera in the setup is an 8MP ultra-wide camera with an attached 16mm lens. Interestingly, the phone can also do 60x digital zoom, which is more than the Huawei P30 Pro. The standard Oppo Reno replaces the tele and the wide for a 5MP depth sensor. As for the front camera, inside the shark fin pop-out module, you get a 16MP selfie camera. On paper, this is a solid camera setup and the phone doesn't have any camera bump, which is excellent from a design perspective. That said, you cannot shoot videos using the wide-angle camera, which is a letdown. Here are a few samples I took using the phones. The pictures look immediately pleasing and the 10x zoom adds a lot of versatility to shooting, as you can see. In fact, if you can get the focal length right, you can create some incredible looking image with great depth because it has an f/3 aperture. I really like the look of the selfies as well. Even in harsh sunlight, the HDR mode does a good job of controlling the exposure. The Reno phones are quite the lookers. Obviously, the Oppo Reno and the Reno 10x Zoom are chunky at 9.3mm and 9mm respectively. However, I'm cool if that means that the camera bump is hidden. And below the rear camera strip, you get a tiny raised dot that protects it when you place the phone on a table. That's quite a neat touch. Unlike the OnePlus 7 Pro, the Reno 10x Zoom has really good weight distribution as well. Also, the build and the feel of the phone is really nice. Now, the 10x Zoom variant has a larger 6.6-inch AMOLED panel compared to the slightly smaller 6.4-inch panel on the standard variant. The rest of the specs are the same, with Corning Gorilla Glass 6 protection on the front, TUV Rhineline certified eye care mode, and DCI-P3 color gamut. By the way, the glass on the rear has Gorilla Glass 5 protection. The display was crisp and bright even under bright sunlight in the limited time that I spent with it. The talking point of the design is the shark fin selfie camera module. Oppo claims that it has tested the module for 2 lakh sessions. The moving mechanism feels really smooth. But interestingly, the earpiece is on the shark fin module and there is a slit on the front fascia that pushes the sound through when you make calls, which means you don't have to actually talk through the shark fin module. That would have been weird. The advantage of such a design is that your earpiece won't be damaged by sweat, which tends to happen on other phones, by the way. I'd love to test the sound quality in calls for you guys soon. Oh, also the rear flash is on the shark fin module. You can use this module for fast face unlock as well because the whole movement takes only 0.8 seconds. Talking about unlocking tech, you also have an in-display fingerprint scanner, and Oppo has reduced the animations by a lot. Actually, there is literally none, making the unlocking feel super duper fast. The haptic motor wasn't as tight as the OnePlus 7 Pro though. You get a Type-C port at the bottom, but there is no headphone jack. There are stereo speakers with support for Dolby Atmos as well. The SIM tray is a hybrid one. Overall, this is by far one of the most beautiful looking smartphones in 2019. Especially that matte finish ocean green color that doesn't attract any fingerprints at all looks particularly stunning. Internally, the Reno 10x Zoom is the phone that completely knocks you over. You get a Snapdragon 855 chipset and two RAM/ROM variants, which is 6GB 128GB and 8GB 256GB. This internal storage is also the UFS 2.1 kind. But what I like about the internal specs is that there is a dedicated DAC and the phone is high-res certified, which means the audio through wired earphones should be great. In my time with the phone, it felt rather snappy, and I think ColorOS 6.0 has also been optimized well. Talking about ColorOS 6.0, I'm still not a fan of the whole, colorful look. However, Oppo claims that your gaming performance should become better because of the new touch latency improvement and that you can land better headshots with it. I mean, that might be a bit of a stretch, but we'll test it out. Now, the standard Reno has a Snapdragon 710 SoC, which makes it a proper upper mid-range flagship. As for the battery, you get a 4065 mAh battery on the Reno 10x Zoom and 3765 mAh battery on the standard variant. You get the VOOC 3.0 charging tech with the new VFS flash charge algorithm that increases the speed of trickle charging in the final stages to reach 100% really fast. Undoubtedly, Oppo is the leader when it comes to battery charging tech. So those were my general first impressions of the Oppo Reno 10x Zoom and the Oppo Reno. Both these phones are looking really good with premium design, a great set of cameras, and a lot going for it. In fact, even the pricing is great, at least on the Oppo Reno 10x optical zoom variant, which is priced at around Rs 40,000 and 50,000 for the two variants that are available. Now, of course, the Oppo Reno feels slightly more expensive, but it's got the same great set of cameras. And how cool is that shark fin pop-out module? Now, the Oppo Reno 10x Zoom actually goes up against a formidable set of competitors in the form of the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which is more expensive. Then there's the iPhone XR, which is around the same price as the S10, S10 Plus range. And of course, more importantly, from the sister company itself, the OnePlus 7 Pro. So, in prolonged usage, we need to find out how it fares against that smartphone because it's actually undercutting the price of the OnePlus 7 Pro. And apart from that, the Oppo Reno, the standard variant, actually goes up against phones like the OnePlus 7, which actually has a Snapdragon 855, but the Oppo Reno has a good set of cameras as well, so we need to test that out. And of course, there are phones like the Nokia 8.1 and the Samsung Galaxy A70. So what do you guys think of the new Oppo Reno smartphones? I am thoroughly impressed. Do let us know in the comment section below. Until next time, this is Ershad from Mr. Phone signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.